Divine Favor could blow a game wide open.
That much is really what I see. And the fact that ECOPS is such a prominent Warlock player, I can definitely imagine that being a big problem here. But look at the match versus Green Sheep last night with Super JJ. Patron Warrior was crushing Green Sheep.
Yeah, I mean, if we see that from ECOP here tonight, I think he's got a very big chance to win.
I think it's right up his alley, frankly. We're going to find out, though, because game number 1 is getting underway with ECOP and Green Sheep. ECOP looking to cement himself a playoff spot with a string of wins, and Green Sheep, he's looking to play spoiler here and fight for Kranich.
I am very surprised by what ECOP's playing here in game 1.
Well,
wait, nope, no, I'm not.
I'm not terribly surprised by it, but I don't think this is the best choice whatsoever. It's
we're gonna have to just wait a minute to see what Green Sheep's playing here. We got a little client issue going on.
Yeah, again, I don't mind this pick here because ECOP is so strong on Warlocks, but I don't like this versus Green Sheep is what I don't like.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, you said it yourself. Divine Favor is such a big card in Green Sheep's range right now because he's been playing so much aggro Paladin.
Well, he does have a Zombie Chow in this, so like I love that play from him in that pick of a card for this matchup. If
he's going to play this kind of strategy, he does have to bring some extra early game. So Zombie Chow, well equipped to fight with that sort of strategy. But we're going to have to see exactly how this one pans out. Again, I don't mind the pick because ECOP's just such a good Warlock player, but I just don't like it versus Green Sheep.
Yeah, and I like this from Green Sheep as well. He's been playing Druid a lot in his first couple of games. Great queue up here against ECOP. Very good against Warrior and some of the other stuff that he's been bringing to the table a lot.
Yep, so ECOP's just going to be content with life tapping, trying to build a bigger Twilight Drakes.
There might be Azure Drake in here as well. You never know.
There could be. I mean, it's not to say that this 100% isn't Dragon Warlock, but I'm saying it's 100% not Dragon Warlock.
You sound like Purple there in his logic. I'm not going to beat Zalay in the Patron Mirror, but I'm going to beat Zalay in the Patron Mirror.
So, not the best turns from Green Sheep. Does have to make a sacrifice here if he wants to kill this Twilight Drake, but I think he's more than happy to get it off the board.
Yeah, for sure. You're not super happy about silencing a Twilight Drake here, but you got to do what you got to do. And he has a second Keeper of the Grove here, so he can deal with the giant taunt later in the game, hopefully that way. And he's got a bunch of big minions and threats of his own. Plus, he's already got a big game hunter, so he has a couple giants checked already.
Yeah, Armor Smith coming in is not what Green Sheep wanted. He wanted something with a little bit more oomph on it. Second Twilight Drake is likely to force this other Keeper of the Grove.
And have you noticed ECOP's camera at all, how it's kind of moving up and down? I think he's got that like nervous leg twitch thing going on right now where, you bounce your leg up and down real fast.
Could just be listening to some really loud
music.
He
could be listening to some really good music, he could be jamming out, but I'm telling you right now, ECOP, he's got to be feeling at least a little pressure in this match.
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, this is a big match for him, and he's the kind of person who isn't going to underestimate Green Sheep. I think just the fact that he looks like he's focused right now and the fact that he's playing to his comfort decks, that speaks volumes for the kind of player that he's taking Green Sheep for right now.
Yeah, it'd be hard to see him not play Warlock in a match this important at some point in time in the match.
I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a Shadow Flame here either. This does buy you a lot of presence for going into your turn 7. Now, the last thing you want to happen is play Dr. Boom and your opponent Big Game Hunter with a ton of minions out.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to take care of the board here. And, turn 6, not always the best for Druid as well, so nicely done on the curve issue.
Yeah, so pretty easy Sludge Belcher turn for Green Sheep. Wild Growth is pretty much stranded in his hand. And ECOP, he will get a little bit punished by his own Dr. Boom, but with a second Shadow Flame in his hand, I think he's likely got the gas to actually push through this game.
Yeah, he's got 2 Molten Giants behind this. In a couple turns, he's going to be able to start playing those as well. Green Sheep, if he does Big Game Hunter here, which you have to believe he's going to, not going to be able to play this Ancient of War just yet, or this Ancient of Lore either.
Yeah, he's going to Big Game Hunter first and play the Shade Next Ramus, so not really worried about the Boombots potentially taking out minions with the Force Nature in his hand and with the 2 giant minions. He just wants to push damage.
Yeah, he wants to get in as much damage as possible right now and try to finish this game off as soon as possible too. He knows that the later this game goes, ECOP being at a high life total, he's going to be able to leverage that hero power way too well against him.
Yeah, this is a spot, though, where ECOP, Green Sheep's not necessarily expecting a second Shadow Flame, and he's going to be able to take full advantage of this.
Yeah, it's going to be a great Shadow Flame, actually.
I mean, what more could you ask for?
I'd actually kill the Sludge Belcher, maybe.
Well, there you go. You actually killed the Sludge Belcher this time. Is dropping a little bit low on life, but this is getting one of those dangerous turns for Green Sheep.
Hey, for ECOP's sake, he got in one there. He got in that one.
This is an easy Ancient of Lore turn.
Yeah, refill the grip up a little bit, need some gas.
Oh, and there's Savage Roar. This could be deadly for ECOP if he doesn't play his cards right.
Yeah, he needs to either taunt up or heal this turn. Green Sheep has lethal.
Step number 1 is run the Boombot in, see what happens.
He got the 4 damage one, but not where he wanted it.
Yeah, not excited about that result whatsoever. So this has to be a defensive turn from ECOP.
How would you play this turn out?
It's pretty darn tough, honestly. Like, going into turn 9, he obviously doesn't want to not taunt up, so I think Molten Giant and Earthen Ring Farseer is off the table.
Yeah, because then you're still dead to Savage Roar and Force of Nature, because the extra damage left over by Ancient of Lore would be too much.
Yeah, it's just, you can't put yourself in that kind of spot.
Yeah, you see ECOP struggling with this decision, too. It's so big for him here. He knows this is where the game is going to turn.
Well, it's ironic that extra damage actually might have helped him this game. You know, something that's funny that I don't really mind in this spot is Dark Bomb himself, and then drop both the Molten Giants and taunt him up.
Yeah, I actually was about to say that he could make this play, but he might just play both the Molten Giants behind here.
Yeah, he's going to Dark Bomb himself. Oh, he's going to Dark Bomb the Ancient Allure. So sets it to 1. Double Savage Roar now. Wow, if Green Sheep draws Innervate next turn.
Well, I mean, he can also start spacing out his damage here, too, because he has a Druid of the Claw that he can, charge with on certain turns, using Savage Roar, to take care of maybe the second half of a Sludge Belcher. He could get through a lot of damage this turn and have minions left over.
Yeah, I don't mind that really at all. I think it's a pretty darn good play.
Just Druid of the Claw, charge, Savage Roar. Yeah, you get in a ton of damage.
He's in 7 and keeps 2.
Over half of it's over half of ECOP's life total. He has to do so much to deal with it.
Now, one of the problems I think he might have to think about here is, what does this Dark Bomb actually signal from ECOP? Is there potential for Mortal Coils in his hand? So if he makes the Savage Roar play, he could just get Mortal Coil, Molten Giant taunted out of the game.
Yeah, that's also very true.
So has to be a little bit patient with it. But with a 5-10 back behind us, I think he's feeling pretty darn good.
Yeah, 5-10 kind of difficult for ECOP to deal with at this point.
ECOP needs some heavy hitters in this turn, which he happens to have. 2 Molten Giants ain't too shabby.
Yeah, they hit pretty heavy. They've been doing some lifting.
Molten Giant definitely lifts. I wonder what a Molten Giant actually benches.
Whatever your life total is.
Benches 8, I guess. Just 8.
I think you just add some zeros behind it, though. I think you have to it's exponential.
So it looks like Mountain Giant, Molten Giant, taunt him up.
Taunt him up, yep. Getting defensive.
You can't not taunt here. This would be a disaster to not taunt.
Yeah, I don't think he has a chance to, play Emperor Thoris on here. It's just not in the cards. You can feel the pressure coming off of ECOP, can't you?
Yeah, it feels tense to me, honestly. The fact that he knows that every single one of these decisions makes a big difference in this game.
Yeah, I mean, every decision that he makes is, season ending or season extending. Oh, second Force of Nature.
I think this is after I see that, this is just a clear turn.
Yeah, you just move it in. Yeah, this allows you to clear both of the Giants out.
Which is a pretty darn big step, considering you have a second Force of Nature Savage Roar in your back
and
pocket.
ECOP might play differently next turn as well because of this.
Wow. ECOP left with a Sun Fury Protector after this turn.
Yeah, Green Sheep, you're going to have to run this Ancient of War into one of these. It's going to have to become a 7-2, but that's still big enough to get, some jobs done. This Sun Fury Protector will be able to trade with it, but I think you're just fine with that since you have the second Force of Nature and Savage Roar behind this.
I mean, he did just pull 16 power and health off the board. I don't think he can be upset at all.
No, not at all.
But this is looking like ECOP actually might have a pretty strong recovery turn here.
Yeah, Molten Giant and Loatheb.
Yeah, Molten Giant, Loatheb, Earthen Ring Farseer.
Yeah, I think you have to Loatheb this turn, right?
You don't have to. I mean, he could just play the Molten Giant and then Jiraxxus afterwards too. I don't have a problem with that. But I like the Loatheb better because it just.
Well, all right. So if you put the Molten Giant to play and you play Jiraxxus and you attack him for 3, he goes to 22, and you have exactly 22 over the next 2 turns with Molten Giant plus Jiraxxus. And if you could, defend anyway after that.
I mean, I feel like the Loatheb is just better than the Jiraxxus, but this is the one turn he can play Jiraxxus and then potentially draw utility next turn. So unless Green Sheep has Force Nature, Savage, or Innervate next turn, the lowest he can take you is 1.
I might be looking to get a big Emperor Thoris on turn going here.
This is a disaster. This is not the play.
Because Earthen Ring only gets you to 14. That doesn't cover Force of Nature, Savage Roar.
I don't disagree with this because he just saw Force of Nature, Savage Roar either.
That's what I was saying. Since he sees that whole combo, you can't believe that Green Sheep already has the other 2 copies.
And that's the power of these kinds of cards, is that when they come in these ranges and you have these strong openings, you're going to steal games. Green Sheep takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, you can see ECOP pretty upset here.
I mean, I'd pretty darn upset too, but You know, you really have no else but yourself to blame. Does he need to get this Emperor in play this turn?
Yeah, you could have maybe played a little more defensively this turn, but do you really blame ECOP for looking to get, his one window to get really ahead in this game?
I certainly don't, and that's really the big talking point here is that, Green Sheep, obviously a fantastic game, curves out really well, allocates his damage at the right time, knows that he has to use Force Nature Savage Roar as clear instead of just purely for damage, and ECOP playing it about as safe as he possibly could up until that last turn. But Green Sheep has expended so many resources at this point, and again, you just saw Force Nature Savage Roar. What are the chances he has a second one?